Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. On June 8, 1984, Ghostbusters hit theaters with great success. And on that note, I decided to devote this whole month to nothing but Ghostbusters toys. So, without... Wait a minute, what's that sound? Oh, it's Ecto-1, bringing us the first action figure we're going to view this week. Let's see who it is. It's RGB's Winston Zedmore. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this guy. Okay, so here we have the real Ghostbusters Winston Zedmore. For those of you who don't remember, Winston Zedmore was hired on halfway through the first movie to help ease some of the growing workload as the Ghostbusters got busy. Where the other Ghostbusters had their scientific, enthusiastic, or cynical natures, Winston brought the everyday man's look on the world of the supernatural. Winston had some other background traits, such as being ex-military and among other things, that was sadly never used in the actual movie, but thankfully it's starting to slowly pop up more in some of the other media, such as the comics. His character was fleshed out a little bit more in the cartoon, with neat little tidbits like him enjoying mystery novels, being a fan of the baseball team the Jaguars, and him even being chosen to go up into space. However, this was all before the marketing department decided to relegate him to being nothing more than the driver and Ecto-1's mechanic. But we won't talk about that here. Now, to be honest, growing up, Winston was probably one of my least favorite characters. It's nothing against him, it's just for some reason growing up, he was just not one of my favorites. However, now that I'm a lot older, he's definitely grown on me as a character, and I find myself relating to him a lot more than some of the others. I feel as though I could relate to him more than the others. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the Winston Zedmore action figure, and I'm going to point things off first right away. You'll have to forgive me, this is not the original pack that this guy came with. This is actually the pack that came from one of the slime soaking features where the slime actually you spray cold water on him and slime will appear. The reason I have this pack on him is because I no longer actually have the original packs that come with these guys. They've been lost over time. Some of them broke. I'll get to that in just a few minutes. And I've just lost them to the ages right now. But it's still basically the same design for this pack as the original pack that these characters came with, only it was a dark blue. So this can be a definite stand-in. These guys have actually been played with a lot. I mean, I'm one of those guys who actually liked to open up my toys and play with them. These guys have been in the park, the pool, the beach, just you name it, I've been played with them everywhere. Now with that, you can also see some age and discoloration with him, and his joints are actually still holding up pretty well. Like I said, he was probably the one I didn't play with the most. I have other ones that are just not going to be able to stand up when I review them. But other than that, I really actually still always love these guys. He had some nice, for the time, he had some nice sculpt detail on the legs. You could definitely see the wrinkles, and he definitely has a feel of a jumpsuit. And he had these nice straps painted on here. So other toys, they might just not even paint that at all. A downside that it's very cartoon accurate. Well, it's mostly cartoon accurate. I have issues with the face, actually. I don't think that the face actually really looks either like the movie or too much like the cartoon. I mean, it's close, but there's still subtle things that I think are kind of off on it. Other toys I think actually did a worse job on it, and it just seems like they gave him a generic kind of face. I do like how they were able to paint the little Ghostbusters logo on the shoulder, which is a nice touch. They never did actually put the name tags on these guys. Well, they never had them in the show. They only had them in one episode for a brief moment, but other than that, they never had them in the show. Another thing that is not show accurate is the collar. Now, in the cartoon, he has a red collar, but I guess helps offset the light blue of the uniform, but on the toy, it's one of those things that you could easily overlook. I mean, I didn't even actually notice it until I started this review. He has a nice little walkie-talkie right here that gives him a little bit of extra character, and that's pretty neat. Now, they have one open hand here, and that's so that you can actually, there we go, or you can pop the proton pack off and slide it on their arms, thus so. Let me try to get that in there. And so that just holds on there, and that's how they would actually hold their weapons, and then you would spin this to actually make look like the beams coming out. This is a nice feature, but then again, this is what I gotta point out. These parts right here would often break pretty quickly, well, with how often I popped my original packs on and off and reholstered them. This little strap right in, or this little part right in here is what actually would break the most, and It's just a common thing. Now you could either actually store the... It was actually also hard... Yeah, I should go back. Now the beams on these things actually came out a lot longer, really far, so oftentimes you'd have to holster the pack to where the beam was standing upright. And in all honesty, that was one thing I never really liked about the toys, because then you couldn't have them sit in the car with their packs on. You'd always have to take the packs off and put the packs someplace else, and you could never store them. So if you're wondering, if you could see on here, I've actually kind of cut off the tips, because, well, the original blue ones I cut off the beams all the way down to the nub right here. But on these ones I left a little bit of the beam on just because it was kind of cool. Now I know that depreciates the toy and everything else, but back then I didn't really care about such things. I actually would have personally liked a missile that shot out, which was something that they did in the Extreme Ghostbusters, or had a beam that was detachable, because it is kind of neat to have them wearing the packs or standing around without these big proton beams coming out. The packs also have this neat little rope feature here that tethers the gun or the neutrino wand to the actual pack. I haven't actually ever seen this anywhere else before, and I think it's a neat little feature. Oftentimes with rubber tubes, they can be a little bit brittle, and they're not as flexible as this nice piece of string. So it was a neat little thing. However, when I was younger, I did actually untie this little knot, and I lost the gun. As a matter of fact, the only pack I still have left is a blue pack with no gun. Now, as you can see, they have these little pegs in here. They have these little pegs in here, so the backpacks could just snap in, snap out. And yeah, there's actually holes in here so you could snap this in here, and it's a hole in the back of the chest, but it's still pretty neat, and so that you got your figures that can be with the packs or without them. Now also each one of the Ghostbuster characters came with one of these little ghosts that they can actually bust. Let me put him off to the side. I don't actually know the name of this little guy, and I actually had to find this guy off of eBay. There was just a sale on eBay one time for a bunch of little ghosts, and I bid on it and won it, and so this is how I got this guy. And then for this review, I checked him, like, oh yeah, this is the guy that went with Winston. Not much to go on him. I hope you could see some of the detail on here. It's kind of hard because it is one solid molded piece of plastic. There isn't any paint detail on him. This is very common with a lot of the toys back in the day, where they wouldn't give that much detail to some of the little accessories that would go with them. On the ghosts, however, you don't really mind, because in the show they were often one solid color. Only the eyes might be colorized or something else. So you can get away with something like that for one of these guys. Personally, however, I think this character always reminded me of the little bird from What? I think it's I can't remember the name of the episode. It's the one where they go to the haunted house, and it's the little old lady, and it's really a conqueror demon, and they possess Peter and stuff. But this always reminds me of the little bird in that show. Or it's also but the beak kind of reminds me of the bird of Kildarby from one of the Real Ghostbusters episodes. But this was a look at Winston Zeddemore, the first character in the line of the Ghostbusters months. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me get this back on here, and that's it. Once again, thank you for watching. If you liked what you've seen today, please feel free to subscribe or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future. Who knows what next week's going to be, so stay tuned. I need your help. See, I'm torn on what to end Ghostbusters month on. I'd like to end with something special, but I'm not exactly sure what to review last. I've narrowed it down either between Ecto-1 or the Ghostbusters Firehouse. Now ideally I would have liked to hold off the Ghostbusters Firehouse till next year, having something to work up with, although I'm not actually sure if I'm going to be continuing with this unless I get more subscribers. So what I need your help with is if you would kindly leave comments or suggestions on which one you would actually like to see, whether it be the Firehouse or the Ecto-1. Either one's okay with me. I would like to review both of them, but well, there's only so many I can do in this month. However, if you leave a comment below and help me decide, and whichever the one gets the most comments, that's the one I will review at the end of the month. So hopefully you guys will subscribe and help me make a decision for me. So long.